Okay, I think we're on. Hello, people of Earth. So I haven't made a video blog in a really long time because I've been super swamped with my last semester of school. But it's the last week, hooray! And I'm kind of talking quietly because people are sleeping. But, I just wanted to get on and talk to you guys because I have been sick for the past 2 days and wanted to do something other than homework because, yeah, being sick and homework don't go together. Like, trying to read and the lines are all blurring, it's wonderful. Nonetheless, I still got homework done today. I was proud. So, a couple of people have kind of spurred this. I'm trying to see if that's actually going okay. This question about how important I think vocal lessons are for people who want to sing rock and roll music, and especially people who want to scream. And my personal view on this is that I cannot stress enough how valuable it is to have any kind of vocal training. Because in my personal experience with being able to sing rock music, it became a lot easier once I understood how to form shapes of vowels without having to pull the corners of your cheeks back so you can belt out harder notes and still somewhat be singing the right syllable. A lot of working with your tongue, which I have awful control of my tongue. I can't even roll it. So that was a very hard concept to learn, and I'm still working on it, which it bugs me because I can hear it in some of our songs. It drives me nuts. But you learn how to pronounce words when you're singing, and it's just overall helps you be more understood, which when you're in venues with very crappy sound systems, it is so important that you do everything you can so people can understand what you're saying. Not only when you're speaking to people, but when you're singing. And I find that very valuable in and of itself, and especially screaming, because I find that I love bands who can have a screamer who can scream things I understand. Because I cannot stand people who scream and it's gone. There's such powerful lyrics and I can't understand what you're saying, and I have to look them up. So bands like Memphis May Fire and A Day to Remember make me really happy because they have a lot better pronunciation of their words and I can understand what they're saying. Sometimes it's hard and it gets a little bit lost, and I understand that musicality sometimes gets in the way of being understood, but it's helpful. So in that respect, it's important. Another thing, especially for you screamers out there, is learning how to control your breath. Because if you do not do it the correct way, you're going to strain your beautiful little vocal cords, and you will get something called nodules, which suck. And you have to go, and they stick this probe up your nose and down the back of your throat, and I think they burn them off. It's not pleasant. So for all you screamers out there, a word of caution: if you do not scream correctly, you will get nodules, and it will not be fun. It's not good. I had a friend who had nodules, and it was very painful, and just, you don't want to go down that road. So learning how to control your breath. I had an awesome vocal coach named Denise Rossetti, who, if you live in Pennsylvania and you're looking for a vocal coach, she's in Strasburg, and she was the best vocal teacher I've ever had. I learned so much from her. Pretty much all of the stuff that really stuck with me that I use today, I learned from her. And she is fantastic and about the sweetest woman you will ever meet in your life. I mean, I don't know if I have ever met somebody that's as nice as her. And just really easy to work with, and she taught me so much, and she's so knowledgeable on this stuff and really knows how to teach it well, which is hard. Because when you start learning these concepts, they're really weird. And if you're taking vocal lessons, I will just warn you now, get ready to make a complete and total idiot of yourself, because you're just gonna look stupid. There's no getting around that, so just accept it, okay? It's okay to look stupid while you're doing vocal lessons because it's so worth it, I promise you. But breath support is extremely important, and learning how to take all the tension out of up here and out of your jaw, which you never really think of, but when you form words sometimes, you put a lot of tension with the corners of your mouth on your jaw, and that puts tension down here. So it's taking the tension out of there and putting it into your stomach, and surprisingly your legs for those high notes. And you learn all of this stuff that's really hard to explain in a short video, but that is so valuable for pronunciation and for not straining your voice, which for singing is extremely important too, because I have noticed that when I do shows and I'm more nervous, I usually forget my vocal technique and I will undoubtedly lose my voice afterwards. But if I'm playing a show where I'm really more comfortable and I'm thinking about it consciously, I never lose my voice and I'm always way more on pitch. I do have close to perfect pitch, but it gets off when I can't hear myself, which happens 99% of the venues we play because I don't have my in-ear system yet. It will help a lot. But when I can't really hear anything besides drums behind me, I'm flying blind. So, interesting fact, I know all of our songs by the drum part behind me, and I can't hear the guitars 95% of the time, and I just wear in-ears that aren't hooked up to anything for earplugs so that I don't lose my hearing, and I can somewhat hear myself in my head. It seems to help a lot. So that's what I've been doing now. But even before, when I didn't wear earplugs, it was just really hard to hear myself, and I really have to focus on technique to not sound terrible, and my voice cracks so much more when I don't use technique than when I am using my technique. So that's helpful if you have a lot of voice cracking. Use the vocal techniques. Another thing is people always ask me, well, I want to sing rock and roll and I don't want to sing the classical Italian arias and blah 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 blah. And I will tell you, do not diss the Italian arias and the classical pieces, because those are some of my favorite pieces to sing. Actually, my favorite vocal piece that I sang was a song in Catalan called Adieu Donzellette, and I actually sat down with my little folk song singing book and I learned the full Catalan version of the song. There was an English translation, but I decided to be hard on myself and learn Catalan, which I was not smart enough to use YouTube at the time. Don't know why I didn't think of that. I sat down with the phonetic alphabet and learned it that way, and that was fun. But if you can understand the phonetic alphabet, it really does help. I used it a lot in Spanish class, so learning that was not in vain. Sorry, my hair is real frizzy because I just blew it dry. Wonderful. But so if you want to really learn how to sing, the classics are super important because they allow you to really focus on control, and singing art songs is really challenging. If you know what an art song is, it's usually a poem or some piece of literature that is then put to music, and the music is really hard. The accompaniment does not follow anything that you're doing vocally, so you really need to know your vocal line and hold on to it, because you're not going to get much help from the piano or whatever's playing with you. And it's super complex. There's a lot of jumps in your range, and it is so important to learn how to control your voice and not to put tension into controlling it, but knowing how to drop your jaw and all these different techniques. So I am rambling a lot, 9 minutes, but yeah, obviously I think vocal lessons are really important, and if you look past the genre barrier there, when you normally sing in vocal lessons, now what I always did was took songs that I like to sing, and we would sing a couple from the book, and then I would take an arrangement that I liked and we would work on that too. Mrs. Rossetti was good at working with me on that, and so it did really help though, because whenever I had a performance with songs that were a little more intense than what I was normally singing in vocal lessons, I still learned how to apply the techniques, and that's really carried over, and I have been on the misfortune of not being able to take vocal lessons while I've been at school, and I have felt my technique slipping because I have not set aside time to practice it like I should, and that is a big no-no on my part, but school was more important. So the first thing I'm gonna do when I get out of school is sign myself up for a good vocal teacher. And that's another thing, is when you're looking for a vocal teacher, shop around, because not all of them are equal. And I had a vocal teacher before Mrs. Rossetti when I was a lot younger, and I did not like her, and she was mean and scary, and it was just a completely different experience. I never liked going to her vocal lessons, really. I liked what I was learning, but I didn't really like learning from her, and she made me sing with a giant teddy bear, and that just wasn't fun. So I really think that you should look around and find a vocal teacher that's going to suit you. Some things you can look for is usually they're going to test your range when you get there. That's a good sign that they're looking into your skill level of what you've already done. I have about a 4.5 octave range, fun fact. So I've been working on that a lot. And they should also test how much musical theory you know, because that also helps a lot. If you know how to read music, if you know how to read the phonetic language, if you know all these different things go into how they're going to teach you, and any background on what you've learned. They'll probably walk you through a lesson and how it would normally be with them if they don't ask them to do that, so that you can really get a feel for if that's your learning style or not, because getting to be in the teaching realm of vocal lessons, everyone has a different teaching style and everyone has a different learning style, and this is a really kind of abstract concept to learn almost before you really grasp it and learn it. So if you don't have somebody who knows how to connect on your learning style, it's going to be much harder. But it is possible, and you just gotta keep practicing, which is why I never stop singing when I'm at home and I drive my parents nuts, so it's great. But it pays off, so I encourage you, if you want to take vocal lessons, do it, do it, do it. You will not regret it. It is super, super valuable, and it will improve your voice tenfold. But it is not an immediate thing, okay? So don't get frustrated when it doesn't immediately click or immediately happen, because you just have to keep working with it. You will see improvements, especially if you're with a vocal teacher who really knows your learning style. So I hope that helped you guys, and I will probably ramble on some more in a different video later on, so bye.